K17PXVI, and local law enforcement is not equipped to deal with this. Due to the circumstances, the Department of Defense has enacted an emergency protocol reserved for this type of situation. Under this directive, martial law will be declared in the following states: Arizona, New Mexico, Nevada, California, Oregon, Washington, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, Utah, and Colorado. Residents in major cities in these states are advised to evacuate immediately, as military forces will be conducting a full sweep of largely populated areas, killing anyone they see in order to slow down the spread of K17PXVI. Do not use highways for travel. Highways must be kept open in order to ensure efficient travel for armed forces. An additional alert will be sent out providing updates on the locations of government-sanctioned shelters. Keep in mind these shelters have limited capacity, so not everyone will be able to seek refuge there. Reported onset symptoms of K17PXVI include, but are not limited to, violent coughing fits, chills, sweating, bloodshot eyes, an extremely painful burning sensation in the head or stomach, headaches, vomiting blood, and slurred speech. If someone you know is showing even one of these symptoms, leave them immediately. They are as good as dead. Do not be sentimental, as they will eventually be consumed by this virus and kill you. Remain vigilant and remain safe at all costs.
Within the past few weeks, a new virus, by the name of K17PXVI, emerged from Seattle. The pathogen has completely puzzled scientists, especially with its apparent ability to infect a person's brain and provoke a homicidal rage state. The method of transmission has not been confirmed, though it is likely that this virus is airborne because of its rapid spread across the entire western region. The pandemic has since caused mass devastation to the West Coast. Military forces are currently in retreat and cities are in complete disarray. It has become apparent to the Department of Defense and the CDC that this virus cannot be stopped from overtaking the entire western region, and data from health institutions projects that this virus will wipe out over 75% of the human population should it start spreading globally. Due to the circumstances, the president has approved drastic measures to stop the virus from entering other countries and the eastern United States. Effective immediately, the military will cease all operations in states west of the Mississippi River. The United States has forfeited its government jurisdiction in the West. This may seem like a harsh decision, but it was made to protect the rest of humanity from such a deadly disease. Refugees from the western states will not be accepted. Electricity and gas will be cut off indefinitely. God bless America, and remember, you are all dying for the greater good of the human race.
This is an emergency message. Health Canada has authorized this emergency message. It has become apparent that the virus spreading rapidly in the United States has crossed into Canada. When this first occurred is not known, but cases have been detected in Vancouver and Calgary. The virus, known as K17PXVI, colloquially known as the Plexia virus, is a distant relative of the Ebola virus.
Ceci est un message d'urgence. Santé Canada a autorisé ce message d'urgence. Il est devenu évident que le virus qui sévit aux États-Unis est entré au Canada. On ne sait pas quand cela s'est produit pour la première fois, mais des cas ont été détectés à Vancouver et à Calgary. Le virus, connu sous le nom de K17PXV, familièrement connu sous le nom de virus de la Plexia,
Of the Ebola virus, and it can somehow suppress a person's immune system and take control of the virus. 17-PXVI is a distant relative of the Ebola virus, and it can somehow suppress a person's immune system and take control of their brain, forcing them into an aggressive, homicidal state. The outbreak has raised concerns across the world as the United States Armed Forces, one of the largest militaries in the world, continues to deteriorate at an alarming rate. Several members of the Assembly have come forth with a proposal, cutting off all North American countries from the rest of the world to prevent a global outbreak of K17-PXBI. Several large countries have voiced their support and are willing to use their own militaries for this initiative. We will now vote on this proposal. Shall more than 2/3 of the Assembly vote in favor of this? It will be passed.
179 people have voted in favor of this, and 14 have voted against this. This motion passes.
This is a broadcast from the BBC. Public Health England has informed us that the American virus has reached the United Kingdom. The virus, known as Plaxia virus, is very devastating and deadly. The virus seizes control of the brain and incites a bloodthirsty rage. All infected persons will eventually become mindless and aggressive, relentlessly attacking any living thing they encounter. Cases have begun to appear around West London, near Heathrow Airport, and in the cities of Manchester, Liverpool, Leeds, Bristol, and Birmingham. In response, the government have established a Plaxia virus task force, and cases can now be reported at www.nhs.co.uk/report-cases. We will send in quarantine teams to handle the situation, and your area will be placed under temporary lockdown. The cities previously mentioned are locked down for an indefinite period. All businesses are ordered to close until further notice. The government are preparing to deploy the armed forces in these cities to supply the people with rations and keep the peace. Symptoms of the virus are as follows: sweating, fever, muscle fatigue, shortness of breath, high body temperature and extreme thirst. If you or someone you know are showing these symptoms, call 0118496045 and inform them of your location, your condition and if you've been in contact with others. Our Plaxia virus task force will handle the situation. This virus has brought the USA to its knees, and the government are putting harsh and swift measures in place to prevent the same from occurring here. The Prime Minister will speak at 7 p.m. today. Please stay calm and remain vigilant.
OP-Verzug van de Nederlandse regering wordt het volgende bericht verzonnen. Het Amerikaanse Plaxia-virus, officieel K17PXVI genoemd, begint zich over Europa en in Nederland te verspreiden. DIT-virus is weer verwandt van het beruchte Ebola-virus en also het oplukt, is volledig verlies binnen 72 uur zeker. De laatste fase van DIT-virus is wanneer het de controle over de geest overneemt en iemand GEK maakt. DIT-virus verspreizt sich in der Lucht, DOS trag als Gesichtsbedecking als jener Buiten Gardon vermieten auf Kontakt mit anderen Buiten je Huishuden. Alle niet-essentiële zakkelijke en particulier gefinancierde instellingen zullen tot na
funded institutions will shut down until further notice, effective immediately. A full shutdown is now in effect. We understand this may be harsh, but it is for the good of our country and the rest of humanity. If you have Plaxia symptoms, call authorities immediately and quarantine yourself. You will be dealt with. Failure to comply with these rules will result in death. Thank you for cooperating.
This is an emergency message from the Nigerian government. It has now come to our attention that the American virus has entered Nigeria. The virus was reported in Europe a few weeks ago after it became apparent the blockade set up around America had been too late and the virus had already crossed the Atlantic and into Europe. We believe the virus reached Africa from Europe via the Strait of Gibraltar and into this country through Morocco, Algeria and Niger. The virus, known officially as K17-PXVI and colloquially as Plaxia virus, is a deadly and distant relative of the Ebola virus. Despite this, the virus has different effects on the body. K17-PXVI is able to bypass the immune system and hijack the brain, creating a violent and bloodthirsty rage. If infected, you lose all autonomy and kill any living thing. Cases were reported in the local government areas of Zango and Bor at 7 a.m. this morning. It is now on lockdown. However, due to these areas having a population of over 100,000 people, and the amount of time the virus has been in these areas for being unknown, it is likely people infected have left these areas and traveled elsewhere. You are advised to remain in your homes and avoid contact with other people. Infection with the Plaxia virus will result in infection and loss of all autonomy. Common symptoms of Plaxia virus are sweating, fever, muscle fatigue, shortness of breath, a body temperature of around 40 degrees Celsius and extreme thirst. If one of your family members are showing these symptoms, you must evacuate or execute them. Should they be infected, they will eventually become aggressive and viciously attack you and your family. You must execute them for the greater good of you and your loved ones. Fail to do so at your peril. The armed forces are now preparing to quarantine cities and prevent infected persons from traveling elsewhere. Be aware that this virus has brought the USA to a standstill, and should this virus begin to spread uncontrollably across Nigeria, it is likely this country will fall. Remember to stay vigilant, stay prepared, and good luck.
Please be advised, we are transmitting this message with very low power. The following message is transmitted at the request of the Australian Defence Force. The American virus K17PXVI is spreading rapidly within Australia, with cases being reported in every state. Residents in Queensland and New South Wales are advised to take extra precautions, as the highest concentration of cases are in those areas. K17PXVI is highly volatile and contagious, and it has the ability to suppress a host's immune system and take control of their brain, forcing them into a homicidal state. If anyone around you is experiencing onset symptoms of K17PXVI, terminate them immediately. Their deaths will be inevitable, and prolonging that will only create a larger threat. The Australian military is severely depleted, and resources are beginning to run out. It is advised that you remain away from cities, specifically those located in New South Wales and Queensland. Help is on the way. There's light at the end of the tunnel. We will survive.
Essa é uma mensagem do que resta do governo brasileiro. O plastiavírus destruiu esse país. Depois de entrar no país pelos aeroportos do Rio de Janeiro, o vírus começou a se espalhar rapidamente por várias cidades do país, pois as péssimas condições de vida e higiene nesse país eram as condições ideais para a propagação do vírus. O vírus da plastia incita uma fúria homicida na pessoa infectada em grande número. Os infectados são quase impossíveis de combater. Nossos militares foram completamente sobrecarregados e, desde então, o caos se instalou no Brasil. A infraestrutura está completamente destruída e estima-se que cerca de 95 milhões de pessoas já tenham morrido. O governo entrou em colapso. O presidente faleceu. É aconselhável evitar grandes centros populacionais. Onde houver um grande número de pessoas, haverá um grande número de infectados. Viaje para a região nordeste do Brasil, na Amazônia. A área é rural e pequenos grupos de sobreviventes humanos devem ser capazes de viajar para as profundezas da floresta tropical e construir um assentamento lá. Esta é a transmissão final. O Brasil não existe mais. Boa sorte a todos e adeus.
The following message is being transmitted at the request of the United States government. Emergency programming has been interrupted to bring you this message. K17PXVI has intensified. Cases are now being reported in every part of the world, and many countries have collapsed due to extreme outbreaks. The United Nations blockade has completely fallen through. Out of the 300 million people that lived in the United States, only 29 million remain official citizens of this country. The rest have either succumbed to the Plaxia virus or they have been cut off for the good of our nation. Anyone who contracts the virus will almost certainly become animalistic and homicidal. All remaining residents of the United States are strongly advised to remain indoors at this time. Seal all entrances to the outside to minimize the chance of the Plaxia virus particles getting inside of your house. The outside environment is extremely unsafe at the moment, and if you remain outside for more than 25 minutes without any sort of protection, you will contract K17PXVI. Make sure you have weapons on standby to protect yourself, such as knives, baseball bats, or guns. The CDC is still trying to figure out how this virus can circumvent the immune system and kill a person, and they are also trying to find a way to prevent that, though it is not guaranteed that a solution will be found. Do not call 911 unless you have a life-threatening medical emergency. Please keep in mind that emergency services are severely understaffed due to the pandemic, and you may not receive a response. Do not rely on law enforcement or military forces for protection. We are currently devising a plan to hopefully provide aid to all remaining citizens of the United States. Please remain tuned.
What's going on? It's Leon Bridges. Check out my new song, Why Don't You Touch Me, on YouTube.